How do you do hand lettering for comics?
How do you handwrite your speech bubbles? Is hand lettering your comics a waste of time?
Hand lettering fonts explained.
Is hand lettering your comics hard?
Hi everyone, it's Lara and welcome to my channel. I'm going to be doing a speed painting of me finishing one of my comics while I talk about how I do my hand-drawn lettering for my webcomics. So I do a D&D webcomic and I make 4 comics every week, I believe. Yeah, four comics, D&D comics, and then a 5th, like, just random one. And I do all the lettering by hand, and I always have from the very beginning. It's just kind of a natural thing for me to do, because for a long time, ever since I was really little, I've been kind of obsessed with, like, making my handwriting, like, super, super nice and, like, flourishy and stuff, so it just made sense that I would do hand lettering for my webcomic, but also kind of a pain, and it takes a long time, so I have debated just like doing like a font on Photoshop or making like my hand lettering into a font. I think I'd still like to do that at some point, but I really like what it looks like kind of not precise, and you know there's still some variation, so still on the edge about that. But I'm going to talk about my process, and maybe this will be useful to someone. I don't know, honestly. I'm trying to make videos again, and this was a video topic, so I thought, why not? Why don't I make a video about this? First off, so I decided to do hand-drawn lettering because I just like handwriting and stuff. It's just really fun for me to do. Once you're doing a comic every day, it can get a little tiring. But so the first thing that I always do is when I make my comic, I always plan the speech bubbles in advance. So I plan where the speech bubbles are going to be so that the composition doesn't get really messed up, because speech bubbles are like in an awkward place. So it's really important whenever you're making a comic to not put the speech bubbles in a super awkward place, because then it will just mess up the whole flow and story and everything. I'm still kind of like learning how to do that, because like I still kind of mess that up sometimes, but it's really important to plan out the placement first so that you're not like super just mess up your whole composition because you put something in the wrong place. So yeah, that's my first suggestion. Second suggestion is always have a first draft of the lettering. So whenever you're creating in Photoshop or whatever program you use, write down just like a first draft layer of the letters so that you know exactly where they're going to be and like the size and everything, because if you just try to freehand it, it's not going to really work out that well. Don't freehand your lettering. Don't. It will not work. It'll be sprawled all over the page and it will just be a mess. So remember to do a first draft, just like if you wouldn't do just a drawing without a background layer or like an undersketch. You need an undersketch for your drawings and for your lettering, so don't forget to do that. I'm not really numbering these, so I'm not sure what number this is, but you need to have confident strokes if you're going to be doing hand-drawn lettering. Don't be, unless your style is just like timid on purpose, you need to be confident in your strokes and not like second guess everything. Pick a brush in your program that you love and just go for it. Don't stress about every single line. As long as it's fairly readable and it's kind of stylized, that's all that really matters. So don't stress out about every single word and line and yada yada yada. It's not going to help you. It's just going to take way more time than necessary. So be confident. Kind of look at it as like you're trying to draw like a confident figure. Like if you're doing figure drawing, you want your strokes to be confident. Same thing with lettering. It needs to be super confident so it can be read well and not look like kind of shaky and stuff. And that helps with the style as well. Next thing, maybe this is just a pet peeve, but I think it looks really silly whenever there's like one word that's hanging out but the rest of the words are kind of clustered together. It makes a speech bubble look like really weird and I don't like it, and that's not really how comic speech bubbles are supposed to be. So try not to have like a word hanging out if you can possibly help it. Sometimes you have to just because the situation calls for it, but wherever you can, try to have like all of the words neatly stacked on top of each other. It just looks so much better, and then the speech bubble will look like 10 times better as well. Like honestly, it looks way better when you don't have like a word hanging. I don't know what the term for that is. I don't know if there are any terms for what I'm talking about, but if you know what I'm talking about, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. And just simple advice. Everyone knows this. Draw your speech bubbles after the words, not before, because if you do them before, you won't have as much room to draw the speech bubbles and resize. After you draw the letters, you can resize it, but it's hard to resize italicize the letters inside the speech bubble, especially if you like covered it in white and stuff. So just do the letters first and then the speech bubble. It's like a way easier process. So if you're trying to find a style for your handwriting and you don't really have one, I would really suggest going on Pinterest, because on Pinterest there are a lot of really good ideas and different styles, and you can just look at them. And it's not about copying, it's about like looking at the ones that you like and kind of mashing them all together into one cohesive writing style, you know? So just search like cool handwriting or cool speech bubble handwriting, something like that, in Pinterest, and it will show you a bunch of really cool results that will help you kind of get inspired if you don't feel like you have a style already. It's really important to have like, I don't know, it's not, I feel like it's super cool whenever the style of writing is really stylized and you can recognize it as, oh, that's that person's like style of writing. So yeah, Pinterest is always an amazing resource for that kind of a thing. So I would definitely suggest doing that if you feel like you don't have a style. Also, you don't have to do hand-drawn lettering. Like, no one's telling you that that is a must to make a comic or web comic. That absolutely is not. The people who are doing it, you know, we're just making more work for ourselves because we like it. But if you don't enjoy doing it, you can just use a font like everyone else. Like, that is totally cool too. It's not really a badge of honor if you do like lettering and someone else doesn't. Like, it doesn't really matter. Pick the problems that you like. Do you like the problem of trying to write all your words every day for your webcomic? Cool, then you should do that. But if you don't really like that problem, just pick a font you like and stick with that. That's my advice. Like, don't give yourself problems that you don't enjoy. And yeah, I am, you know, I'm always improving and learning. I've only been doing this for like 6 months, so not an expert, and I've been trying to read more comics so I can get more inspiration and learn how other people do stuff, because I honestly have no idea what I'm doing. I do like that my comics are hand lettered, and I like the style a lot. It's one of my favorite things whenever the handwriting turns out really nice in a comic and I just get to look at it. It's like really, really nice. That's something that I like about comic creation. Oh, I have like one last tip, and this isn't really about lettering, but it's kind of about it. You know, it's a real pain to try to fix any typos. So as you're writing the first draft, and it's not even like in Photoshop, if it's in your sketchbook or something, look up these correct spellings of words way in advance of you actually doing the lettering, and write them in your notebook or somewhere, because you will be so surprised with how many words you just like don't know how to spell once you do like hand-drawn lettering. Like, I use Google so much just to be like, how do you spell certain, or how do you spell necessary? Like, honestly, it is so frustrating when I publish a comic and it has like 5 typos. Like, one time I posted a comic and it had like 5 typos, like legit, and like 2 typos in the caption on Facebook. So like, yeah, don't be like me. Don't be terrible at typing or, you know, spelling. That will save you a lot of time, and then you don't have to take down the entire post because you misspelled a really important word, and everyone's just like, and then everyone is just commenting that you misspelled a word instead of actually engaging with the content. That's super annoying. So yeah, you don't want that to happen to you. That's happened to me several times. It's really annoying. One of the joys of doing content where you write stuff on the internet is, well, people get to tell you write stuff wrong, and that's just really great. It's one of my favorite parts of doing comics. Just, you post your comic and then the first comment is like, you spelled "and" wrong, and I was like, thank you for your helpful input. I didn't know that I hired you to be my editor. Where were you 2 hours ago when I needed to proofread this? But yeah, mini rant. Just like, it's frustrating whenever you post something and then like no one actually talks about the content. But thankfully that doesn't happen to me as much because I'm a little bit better at proofreading my stuff, and you'll get better at that as time goes on. Maybe we should make a separate video about proofreading. I'm gonna write that down. I think that is all I had to say about hand lettering your webcomics. If you found this video helpful, maybe you can subscribe, share it with your comic writing, comic making buddies, and if you have any questions for me comic related, you can share them down below. I have a coloring book that you can buy, a D&D coloring book. If you're looking for a Christmas present or something, you can get that down below in the links, and I will talk to you later. Bye!